And we have DeLa from Slightly Stoopid joining us here today to talk about his new solo project,
All
DeLa
right.
and Steady Rock Easy. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
For
So
real, man.
thanks
Be
for
here.
joining us.
Yep.
Let's start at the beginning and sort of dial it back for a second. But why was now the right time to sort of come back and do a solo record for you?
Well, I've been releasing music pretty steadily since 2017. Yeah, I definitely reconnected with a lot of my old school friends from Boston, the Boston area music scene, when I moved back from San Diego 5 or 6 years ago. So it was important to kind of put the new voice with the players that I was playing with. So.
So what is it about that Boston music scene and those Boston players that's different about than the Cali guys that you just caught a vibe with?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like the Cali scene is like no other, as we all know, and millions of concert goers each year are seeing that and hearing that sound. But the way that I came up in Boston was kind of more jazz oriented, and like a lot of those guys that I learned to play music with are still out there doing it every night, grinding, playing killing music, and I just wanted to have that flavor, that jazz kind of mentality within what I'm trying to do.
So I know you've sort of been an open book to a certain extent when it comes to your health scare,
Oh,
and the brain tumor that you had,
mm,
and it sort of indirectly was like a genesis for starting a solo project. Is that correct?
yeah, that's pretty spot on. Without having this massive life-changing brain surgery that I had in 2010, Carl Denson would have never really came into the fold with Stupid as much as he did. And because of him coming in to sub for me, essentially, if I was going to miss a gig due to my recovery, we became fast friends and have remained so. And just are always bouncing musical ideas off of each other for all kinds of different stuff. But he was the impetus for my first record, DeLa and the Agrolites opening night. So we kind of he created a monster.
So what is it about working with Carl? Because Carl's like he's played with a funk, jazz, he's an accomplished player. He plays with the Stones. What is it about that musical chemistry that you guys have together that allows you to foster that creativity and write songs?
That's a great question. I think like on a deeper level, he sees some of the mistakes that he may have made in me, and he wants to like help me to not make those mistakes. So he offers me sound advice on stuff like that. But also, like personality wise and like music wise, we're into a lot of the same stuff. So we have a lot of common ground. We're both real family oriented. We love to drink wine and eat good food and all that stuff, so not only do I admire him greatly as one of the best saxophone players around, but we really connect on multiple levels. Except for he's a Chiefs fan and I'm a Patriots fan, so
Oh, yeah, that's not going to work very well.
right.
Keep the NFL talk out of it.
Yeah, all right, copy that.
No, I'm just joking, but like they say that being in a band is sort of like being in a marriage. So is it like when you're sort of I guess getting to know somebody, is it establishing that common ground where, hey, I can write with this guy because we have these common things, these common musical influences, things like that.
Yeah, there's that. I think that's always bubbling under the surface, right? Like, because, like you don't know because you're in a work environment. You don't really know personally all the time until you get under that second layer, and that stuff just kind of happened real naturally with us. Like, I mean, I can remember him being in the back of the bus and like I was like messing around with my stuff, and he like came out. He's like, "What is that? What is that?" Like it's just that musician curiosity. I think that fuels all that kind of evolution. Whether it's a personal relationship or a musical relationship, you know, like it's the musician's constant want to, what's that? What's the next thing? Or discover the next thing, or figure out the next thing, or what's coming next, you know? So that really kind of was how it got all got going for sure.
Well, I remember interviewing like Nathan from Aurora Way, but he was like, I thought he put it best when he was like, he's like, I'm just trying to be a conduit for the music, and he's like, if my musical antenna's up, I can receive that transmission, and it's like there's some weird, sort of thing in the air where it's just if you receive that transmission, or you're meant to like hear that song in the back of the bus and like connect with it, like it's such a crazy thing.
Yeah, it really is. And to that point, like I like that analogy, but it also leaves you really vulnerable. So like human tendencies are to protect vulnerability, right? So like that's what I mean by getting underneath that first layer of like, you know, natural protection. You don't know what somebody's intentions are, and then you take a step and let them into your world, you know what I mean? Yeah. And in that vulnerability for Carl and I in particular, in that moment, like he was very receptive to what I had to offer, you know. So that just like laid a rock steady concrete foundation, you know, right there off the bat between us.
So tell us about the new single, "Living Life This Way." What inspired it? What you were trying to achieve with it. Give us some background on that one.
Well, so first of all, shout out to the creator of that rhythm, the drop leaf rhythm that I've heard on so many of my favorite artists have done versions of their own songs on the drop leaf rhythm by Don Corleone, and I had always been drawn to that rhythm. So we recreated it, and I really wanted to tell a story about, you know, how the exchange of energy between the artist and the crowd is everything. It's everything. You know, Jamaicans are famous for saying work your show to their audience. And that just means that whatever you're giving us, we're going to give back to you, you know, and vice versa. If we give you something, we want you to give it back to us. So this is basically just a song about that and how high we can all get together when we're exactly where we're supposed to be, you know, living life and dancing to music with each other.
There is something special though about the live show when the audience like and the artists sort of connect on that level and get on the same wavelength, and like they're just totally in sync. It's kind of a magical thing.
Nothing like it. And again, like it takes us both. Like we can't just be up there giving it and not getting it back. And you guys can't give it, the audience can't give it to us and us not give it back. You know, it has to be a synergy, two things coming together. And I think that that's really a beautiful thing, you know, and it's why we go see live music, or it's one of the main reasons why we perform live music is for that exchange. You know, you can't get that scale of exchange sharing energy with, you know, however many thousands of people are at these shows. You know, it's like nothing else really.
And there's so many factors that go into a live show, like just from a performance standpoint, like, you know, you being on stage, connecting with the other players that you're playing with, and then the audience sort of factors into that on top of it. So it's like when all those things, those sorts of stars align, I guess,
Yeah.
it really is magic.
Yeah. And I think that that's what keeps us all going back, right? I mean, yeah, the music, the songs are relatable, and the musicianship draws people in too. But yeah, I think that there's that unknown element and of that synergy between the crowd and the band or the performers that I really wanted to highlight in this tune, Living Life This Way.
So what can you tell us about the upcoming record? Like, is this part of a larger project? Can you give us
So
details?
yeah, that's a good question. So you know, based on the way that everything is, and you kind of touched on it with with talking about how Spotify and streaming services work in general. I think I'm not working towards a full album right now. I just want to release music as consistently as I can. And the easiest way for me to do that is by producing singles every few months. So definitely look out for a steady flow of singles here and there throughout the year, 3 or 4 released a year. So that's what I'm trying to do, just to develop some consistency.
So how would you say the writing process for you as a solo artist has evolved from opening night?
That's an excellent question. When I first came back east after living in San Diego for so long, I realized that I needed more material and that I wanted more vocally driven material. Opening night has vocalists on it. Angelo Moore from Fishbone, Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5, and the incomparable Miss Rebecca Jade. She plays with Sheila E. and a bunch of other great artists. They guest appeared on my record, and it was great. But I realized that as I started to do more live shows, I realized that I needed to step up front and sing more myself. And in order to do that, I needed to write more songs that were vocally driven. So that was kind of a big shift for me. I've been singing backgrounds for a while now, but to step out in front and to be the focal of vocal attention is definitely a big leap. You know what I mean? So I definitely wanted to construct a body of work around that, and I'm still working on that. So there's going to be plenty more songs to come.
So stepping into that spotlight, there's got to be like a feeling of like, can you do it? And like building up your chops to the point where you feel comfortable.
Yeah. I think with singing, it's something that, all musicians do all the time in their practice. Like if you're transcribing something, you're listening to it and you're singing it in your mind, or singing out loud to match the tones on your instrument, with your voice. And really, like, so we're all doing that to a certain extent. It was for me like more learning how to use the instrument of voice, so I took a couple lessons and still take lessons. And I definitely practice at it, because I want to be able to deliver the same kind of emotional performance that I can with my horn. You know what I mean? So that's been really important to me. And also, like, there's some colleagues of mine, Carl being one of the first ones to recommend that I start singing, and my buddy Paul and Slightly Stoopid, the keyboard player, Paul Wollstonecroft, they've all been really encouraging of me. And that, like, kind of helps when somebody that you respect or admire musically is kind of like, yeah, man, go ahead, sing that. You sound good, like, you're like, oh, okay, well, I can do this. So it's a confluence of things, but we're getting there. It's a work in progress.
that vote of confidence is sometimes all you need.
Yeah. Vocally, especially, because again, back to the talk about vulnerability, you're like an exposed nerve when you're out there singing, so it's definitely a different thing when you don't have an instrument in front of you anymore, and you are the instrument. So
And I think like a vocalist as a whole are under a microscope a little bit more than the other players, right? Where you have like stuff like Bon Jovi did that documentary where he's documenting his vocal struggles, and it's like I commend him for actually putting that out there and being honest about it, because people can be ruthless, especially on the internet.
Yeah. Try not to pay any attention to that, because if you do, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And also, perspective wise, like, we're the ones doing the work. So, like, we know if we're doing what we're trying to do. If somebody else doesn't get it, there's nothing that I can do about that, as long as I know that what I'm doing is true to what I'm trying to do, if that makes sense.
Segueing into the next, you have the solo music coming out, but you also have another project of children's music, Dubtown Rockers. What can you tell us about that project?
Well, it's great. My buddy on keys and Slightly Stoopid, Paul Walsoncroft, and I were kind of just noticing a changing of the guard in our crowd. And that, like, a lot of the people who had been on our scene for a long time were starting to have families of their own. And at the same time, coincidentally, so were we all. So we were kind of like, man, we could make music for children. Like, that'd be really fun. And like, we got our kids involved, and it's just been a great journey. So we released Sing Little Birdie, I think, in 2020, and have been releasing singles ever since. Our newest single is coming out this Friday. It's called Family, featuring this wonderful artist by the name of Jay Lauren, who is the guest vocalist on this track. And it's just talking about family and how important all that is to an essential vibe for your life. You know what I mean? So
Do you take a cue from like the old school, children's singer songwriters like your Sharon Losenbrams, those types of things that you got to connect with that music again?
sure, there's a little bit of that, I think, inherently in us, because that's where we come from. So that's always kind of going to be in there. But we've been reaching for what's popular now, like seeing what our kids are listening to, and like being like, hey, well, that's cool, but I can write one like that too. And so we're drawing inspiration directly from our children, which is, I mean, that's the best.
That's awesome. And then you're also, this project sort of spirals into another one, but you're doing a book as well.
We have a book. It's called Dubtown Rockers, The New Kid. And this was an interesting this came about in a really interesting way. We had an idea about all these characters. So the premise is that we have this island, and it's a tropical island called the island of Rub-a-Dub, right? And the main town in Rub-a-Dub is called Dubtown. Yeah. So the island's full of all these like monsters, like very cute little monsters, and it's a very musically centered culture on the island. So everybody's all about music and making music with their friends. And The New Kid is just a story introducing these characters, because during the pandemic we were kind of trying to pitch a show idea where, like, all these musical friends, they save the day with their music. Yeah, like kind of like a Paw Patrol kind of, but music based. And a lot of the people that we talked to about this were receptive to the idea. They loved the idea, but kind of were like, well, we don't really see the concept. We understand the concept, but we're not seeing any work. So writing this book was really a first step for us to introduce our characters and our concept to the masses here. And we've had some success with it, working with a company called Playaway that installs the stories in their books, and in their digital readers that they have. And yeah, I mean, it's been a blast. It's been a blast. And as our kids grow, the music and the stories, they all change. So be on the lookout for book number 2. I know that we have it written. We haven't made any moves towards it just yet, but it's there. So be ready for that.
So what's it like stepping into like a completely different medium? Because like the medium of storytelling, you're telling a story, and then somebody's taking that story and visually representing it with the art. It's like it's definitely a different creative muscle.
It's slightly different, but in that, like, it's a longer story than, you try and write songs that are stories, right? So if you know how to do that already, like expanding it out a little bit more, giving a little bit more detail and humanizing it a bit more, as in dialogue, like how we would talk to each other, that stuff for me, like it was a pretty natural transition. But yeah, I could understand that, but yeah, honestly, for me, it was very, very natural. It didn't. I I'm not trying to take away from other writers because I am by no stretch a great writer, but it, yeah, it was not as big of a leap as I expected. And once we had the concept of like the big picture of like, okay, we're gonna introduce these kids with these little monsters with kid-like tendencies, like our own children, or stories of our own children's friends at school and their interactions, and we're gonna put those into this story to unite this band, Dubtown Rockers, of essentially little kid monsters. So yeah, it seemed like a low-hanging fruit almost. So that was good. Now getting the next one out is the challenge.
But it's got to be fun, like world building as well, and like creating those characters, the backstories, like that aspect of it is got to be creatively fulfilling for sure.
Yeah, it's super cool, and the best part is like we have a captive audience with our children. Like you you write something down, hey, what do you think of this? Like talk to my son or my daughters. Like, what do you guys think of this? Oh, I think it could be more like that, or that's really funny, or anything like that. But just watching them relate to it, like, is great market research.
That's awesome, and you can share it with your kids. That's the coolest part.
The best, and they feel like, because we're always working. All of us are working, whether we're traveling or whether I'm up here in my home studio or whatever. Like, we're always working, and like to show them something for them that I'm working on, is another level of connection that you can't beat. You can't beat that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I want to wrap it up. Next year marks the 20th anniversary of you joining Slightly Stoopid. So can you run down some of the highlights? Like 20 years is like, it can't feel like it's been that long.
Man, it's so crazy. I had never had any kind of working relationship that has lasted 2 decades in my life. So we are just blessed. There's no other way to say it. We have done some incredible things. We've played on every continent except for Antarctica, which I don't think there's any clubs down there, so we won't be going there anytime soon. There's like being a part of the fabric of the history of Red Rocks, having sold it out, I don't know, 17 or 18 times now. You can double check my math on that, but it's close to that. And that's just an honor when you go in the backstage and you see the list of bands that have sold it out over the years since they opened it in the early 20th century. It's just an honor to be a part of the fabric of that venue now. So I'm really proud of that. We've had tons of recorded music that we've released, and we've played so many shows all over the place, and the reach that we've had, it's pretty unprecedented over this long. As you said, it'll be 20 years for me in January. So I can't say enough about how grateful I am to the fans and to my brothers in Slightly Stoopid for everything that we do together.
So is the 20th year, is that like the gold watch year or the gold chain year?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe like they'll give me a golden saxophone reed or something like that. I don't know.
I love it. Well, yeah, hey man, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time today. Everybody should go check out your solo work. I really do hope that they check out Dubtown Rockers as well, because I think there's a lot of things that you could share, with your family and your kids. So I think you got a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate all the support from the Pier and everybody over there. And yeah, go check out DeLa and Steady Rock Easy. We got 2 singles out right now, Living Life This Way, Until the Dancing's Through. And be on the lookout this Friday, Black Friday, for the release of Family from Dubtown Rockers.
We should cover that. Like, what's the give me the heads up because we haven't heard it yet. It comes out Friday, so
Yeah, it comes out Friday. You're just gonna have to go check it out. But it's a great tune. And like I said, Jay Lauren from Vibey Kids is on it, and she's just great. She delivered a great performance and really honed what we were doing. It was awesome working with her. So go check that out. Go check that out.
well, once again, thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time today, and we'll definitely cover you extensively in the Pier. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a happy holiday.